Hey everyone. Okay, so Yvette St.Amant here. I am back with my little heritage journal that I'm creating. Use upcycling an old cell phone cover. So we're going to start construction of the book, the inside pages. And I just want to show you because I'm still planning the inside cover, and I do want to resurface this as well, but we're going to work on the contents today. But I just wanted to show you that I just cut a piece to slip in for the back and a cardstock piece just as a backing, and we're going to adhere the book to this. So, but I'm going to put it aside because I'm not 100% sure that's how I want the back cover to look yet. But let's get started on the pages for the interior. Let me just pull those out for the time being, and then I'll show you how we're going to construct this book. Now, the case that I have was for the Galaxy S8, so all my measurements are for this size, but you can certainly do this with any size cover, and you'll have to kind of create it according to what's working for you for your style of book. But I'm just working with 8x10 cards. I've got like a heavier paper here. That's probably like an 85-pound stock, and I'm going to use this. What we're going to do is create almost like a zine. I did a little template here, so we're going to do a zine, and then inside the zines we're going to have little signatures in each fold that we'll stitch in. And then basically it's going to be like a little accordion that you pull out, but each section's going to have a signature, and there'll be one here too, so I can insert lots of good stuff. And by the time it's all collapsed in there, when it's filled, it'll be nice and full, and it'll make the perfect little book. So that's what we're doing. So you're going to need one piece of a heavier cardstock, and you don't have to do a heavier cardstock. I think I'm going to try it with it because I want something a little more sturdy, because it is for my daughter, and I know she'll be pulling this out over and over, so I want it to, kind of hold up. So we're going to need one 8x10 for the zine or accordion. And then we're going to need 1, 2, 3 additional 8.5 by 11 that you can use anything for the inserts. And I'm using this kind of pearlesque paper is what I'm going to be using. So let's get started with that. Now, my measurements, I'm always measuring over and over, but with this, we don't have to measure yet. We're just going to do the folds. So the first thing you want to do is fold your paper in half. Okay, make sure you've got a bone folder. And then you're going to fold the outside, the flaps going outward. So you're folding back towards the fold. And I like to leave just like a hair. I don't like to go right to the edge. I mean, with this book, it's kind of encased, and we're not sewing anything to a book cover, but I still just like to leave a little hair there. And then you're going to do the same side. So that's what we just folded. We're going to flip it over and fold again towards the fold. Okay, perfect. Nice. And then what I do from here, so here's your accordion. That's going to go inside the book. And I am going to cut it down to size now. So my case, I did 6 inches long. So we're going to cut the 6-inch mark. Exact. And the width is already, it's perfect width. It ends up being 2 3/4, which is what fits inside my book. And then what you want to do is use a beveled edge clipper to clip the edges, because it is a rounded, whoops, it's a rounded phone case, so can't leave them square or it won't fit in. So if you've got a really good cutter, you could probably do a couple at a time, but this one's getting a little old, so yeah. And the paper's thicker, so I can only do 2. And you want to do all the corners so that when it's folded together, everything's rounded. This just doesn't want to cut anymore. Try this one again. Come on. There we go. Sometimes just flipping it seems to help. I don't know why. Okay, so all the edges are beveled. Now, when I did my kind of blueprint, I'm just using plain like copy weight paper, so I could do it all at once, but because this is a little more sturdier, I had to do one at a time. So all your edges are beveled, and you'll see that it fits right into your phone case. So that's going to end up popping out like this, and we're going to have our signatures inside. So let me just get my folds a little better here. All right, so then for the signatures inside, for each inside sheet, I'm going to use this pearlesque paper. It's kind of like iridescent. I thought it was kind of pretty, and I'm trying to remember how I did this. I think I just did them this way. Okay, so these ones are a little smaller, so that when they're inside the book, they fit in and you don't have to clip the edges. See that? So my measurements for this size book was 5.5 by 5.5. So it's a 5.5 by 5.5 square. So I'm going to cut 3 at the same time. So each signature is just going to have 2 full pages, which ends up being 4 pages in the book, but you're going to have 8 sides to work in. So that'll make for a good little journal. Okay, so 5.5 by 5.5. I'm just doing them all at the same time. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go like 1/8 of an inch under 5.5. I don't know what that measurement is, but I just wanted a little, I want to make sure that it's not, you know, sticking out. That one was pretty good, but I always find on my second cuts, for some reason. Okay, so there's 4 sheets there. Nope, 3 sheets. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one. Let's make sure it's the same the other way. 5. I just just have to cut a hair off. Okay. Perfect. So you'll end up with 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 2 for each fold. So just take 2 sheets, and these are your signatures. We're going to sew them. Fold them in half. Okay, there's one set. My second set. And my last set. Okay, so we're going to have a signature in this section, one in this section, and then we will have one on this side in this section. So it's going to be a good little journal. I'll be able to fit quite a bit in there. Now we're not going to get to the sewing just yet because I do want to incorporate a couple pockets. And if you watched how I did the covers, I had a couple of these vellum pages that I stamped, and I'm actually going to use these as some pockets on the inside. I'm just wondering what I can get out of them here. And I'll also I thought I had another one that was stamped. I wanted to put a couple more stamps on this. I could also, you know what, I'll just do it when I'm done so I don't confuse you. Okay, so I've got a couple sheets of vellum because I want to put an insert pocket with the hardcover here. So I'm just gonna actually take my ruler and tear it. And then what you're going to want to do is fold that sheet in half. And you're going to want to clip just the bottom part, bevel the bottom edge, because that's going to go right here, like so. And then you're also going to bevel the other side of the bottom there. I don't know why this little guy decides he's going to act up on me. There. Like so. So that's going to end up being a little pocket. And I think I might just trim it down a tad because I do find it a little tall. You can leave it tall, but I just want to get a little bit off. About ½ an inch. Perfect. And just to prevent any kind of confusion with the sewing, what we're going to do is we're just going to glue this right in. And so with this pocket, you want to glue, I need a scrap piece of paper. You want to glue just the bottoms here and then the side edge, because we're going to sew the middle, so it doesn't need to be glued. This will make it easier when you're sewing too, because then you don't have to worry about an extra piece. So make sure you've got that in the middle. And just Get that down. So the pocket's all done. That's ready to go. And then when we sew the signature in here, you will have a pocket on either side, which will be really nice for storing any kind of little heirlooms or something that your family might have that you want to tuck in there, or some little memorabilia. And we're going to do the same thing on this side and on the inside. So we're going to make a pocket on each page. And I also have some of this parchment paper that I did some prints on. So I'm going to use this one for the inside of this pocket. It's really easy to just tear because you can see right through the parchment. So, and I like the vellum pockets because once you get it in to the book, you can see through, little piece. You can see whatever you're putting inside the pocket, you'll be able to see through because it's transparent. Okay, so again, the same thing, just fold it in half. And then you're going to want to bevel the edges on both sides. And then again, same thing, we're just going to glue on the bottom portion. And then up the sides. Okay. Place the pocket in the correct position. Isn't that pretty? And again, your insert's going to go in the middle, so you will have a pocket on each side. Your other one's over here. And then I am going to do one more on this fold. Okay. And I have one left here that will fit perfectly. So I'm going to use that. So let's cut a little bit off, tear a little bit off the bottom here. Parchment doesn't want to tear as easily as the vellum. So I am just going to trim a little bit off here because there's a little excess. And then again, we're going to fold in half, and it isn't completely square. I'm okay with that. It is vintage, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then again, we are going to bevel the bottom edges only so that it fits nicely in here. And it doesn't have to be the same length as this because these are all different pages. They're going to be different signatures. And when it's opened, you're going to see these pages in here like so. So trust me when I say it's going to be okay. Add some glue to seal our little pocket. Okay. nice. So let's make sure everything's, you know, laid flat. Just run your bone folder over it. And you've got your basic book structure here. Isn't that cute? And if you want, you can always add pockets in the front too, but we're just going to build the book, and then we'll worry about that later. So you're going to need some waxed linen. Okay, where's the wax linen that I want to use? Okay, I think I'll use a neutral. All right. Okay, so I've got the needles. I need an awl. So get yourself some waxed linen and the thread a needle. So we're going to sew 3 signatures. So we just need enough of the string for 1 signature. So measure 1, 2.5. And if you want to prep all 3, you can certainly do that right now. I find it easier because I've got all my threads already measured and cut, and then I could just, whoops, thread them. Okay. So we'll do the first one. Get my needle ready. All right, and we're just going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So our first signature, you want to get your sheets, your 2 sheets, make sure you have 2 sheets, and you're going to want to center it so that it doesn't, when you have it folded, you're not going to see like the paper sticking out the edge. So you just kind of eyeball it, and then you're going to punch a hole in the center roughly, and then you're going to go about 1 inch. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to show you in a second here. Inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom, so you have 3 holes like so. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go from the inside because we're going to be putting the book, we have an encasement in the book, and I don't want the little threads getting in the way. So we're going to go down into the center on this one. Leave a little tag. Okay, up through the top. And then we go past the center one and just down through the bottom. Okay. Bring your threads up. And then you're going to go back through the center. Okay, if you're short like me, you can pull a little more. I just got to pull a little bit more thread through. Okay, so we're going to go back into the center, but when you come up, make sure you're on the opposite side of this middle string. So if your string is over here, you want to come on this side of the string, not on the same side, because we're going to tie it in the center. And that's going to secure it nicely. Okay. So at this point, you can pull your needle out. I'm not too worried about the length of the threads because I am going to cut them a bit, but just pull gently in the way of the spine. You don't want to pull this way or you can tear your paper. Just make sure it's nice and taut, and then, you know, do the right over left, left over right rule to secure it. And then you can cut your cord if you want right down. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I might add a little something to it, but I just don't want it kind of hanging off in here. So there's your first signature. How cute is that? So you've got one little booklet and a pamphlet. Now we're going to create another signature here and also there. So let's move on to this one. I've got my papers here, same thing. You're going to have to thread again. Okay. So same thing on this one. Make sure you have 2 sheets and you're going to center it. And then 1 hole in the center, then 1 inch from the bottom and 1 inch from the top. And same thing, we're going down into the center. So at least you get to see this 3 times. Then you go into the bottom hole. And then you're going to skip the middle hole, go right up to the top. Oops. Okay, and then again, back up through the center. Make sure you're coming up on the opposite side. What I do is I kind of pull the thread over this way and hold it, and then I put my needle through. So I know I'm, whoops, coming up. I poked the middle of my paper by accident. Okay. All right. And again, just pulling along the spine to secure it. And right over left, left over right trick, or left over right, right over left to secure. Okay, and that one's okay. All right, so we've got 2 signatures sewn now. Our book's coming along. So we've got one there, and then one here. So then it's just the middle one we want to do, and really we're doing the exact same process. So round 3, thread that needle again. Okay. Get your 3rd signature. Again, make sure it has 2 papers. Center it up. And then we're going to go again in the center, 1 inch from the bottom, 1 inch from the top. I'm going to start in the middle. Through the top. Skip the middle. Go right down to the bottom or the top, whichever one you started. and then back into the center. And make sure, again, you're coming up on the opposite side. And whoops, just pull until taut. Right over left, left over right, you know the drill. And that's it. We've got all our signatures. So we are literally done the inside of this little book. How cute is that? And then you've got your pocket. We already glued that in. So you're going to have some room to put little goodies here. And then you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, another pocket. And then when you flip it over, you've got another pocket here with your 4 pages, pocket at the end, and you also have another signature on this side. So this is all going to fit into your little cell phone case. And ultimately what we're going to do is this side's going to be affixed to the bottom so that when you open your book, your journal, you are going to have a little like pull out with different signatures. So you can go through and read this section, go over here and read that section, and then you'll also be able to flip this way and read that section. So pretty cool, huh? So then what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to end up actually working the journal before I adhere it in the book, because I want the freedom to like have it flat and get all the little goodies that I have for in the book. And I would suggest you doing that too, unless you're doing this as a gift. And then I'll also do a little tutorial so I can show you how I get the back cover on, because ultimately we are going to, when this is done, this will be affixed to the back cover, and we are going to glue that right in there so it's secure. And we're going to resurface the inside of that too. But I wanted you to see how the inside of the pages were done. And now you can go ahead and start doing some yummy journaling. I've got all my goodies that I want in my journal. I'm going to start working on that. I'll make sure that I record it so that, you know, you can see how I'm putting together my little journal, my heritage journal, and, you know, you can also see my story too if you're interested. How many people out there really understand or even know of the Acadian tradition? I've actually just learned about it in the last couple of years. My parents, I was doing a family tree book for my children a couple years ago, so I was asking all kinds of questions, and I was able to get some of the history. So it's really interesting when you start doing your research and you learn about your heritage. I fell short of that for a little while, so making sure I do that for my children. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you're following along and you're getting some ideas and you're creating a little journal like this too out of your recycled materials. So stay tuned, and I'll do each week I'll have a little bit more that I'm doing in this journal for you. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.